So those comments from Apple came from the Apple executive Eddie Q. He made them while testifying in the DOJ's lawsuit against Alphabet. What does the rise of AI search providers and their possible replacement of Google in, iPhones and iPads really mean for brands? I mean, how would you begin to think about advising companies on how to navigate that?
Not only have I begun to think about it, we're actively talking to most of our Fortune 500 companies who overly rely on Google AdWords as a driver. Now, Google AdWords, is intent-based marketing. It's not like you become aware of something and now you want to buy it. You're typing something into a search engine. I've always argued that it's more sales than it even is marketing. But there are a lot of companies watching right now in the Fortune 5000 set that are in big trouble. A huge percentage of their business comes from search. They've got their CAC and LTV numbers down, customer acquisition cost, lifetime value. And we are in the early stages of the search engine looking like the Yellow Pages. And it's real, right?
So what replaces that and what's the business op?
Well, what replaces it, and listen, Google Inc., Alphabet is trying to do that with their Perplexity, but there's no scenario where Google can control as much of the AI chat search ecosystem like they have on search. What replaces it is probably a conglomerate, whether it's OpenAI, whether it's Meta, whether it's TikTok, whether it's Google or Apple. It's probably going to be fragmented. Even if Google crushes it with Perplexity, they're not going to be able to have the same stance. And so what does it mean? It means that a lot of people that have been really lazy and overpaying for their brand value on search need to understand that they're in trouble and need to start to create demand and other variables, plus start to learn how to win the SEO game in the AI game. AI optimization is about to be a whole new game. We're looking at a lot of startups in my fund and with agencies of what happens when you go to OpenAI right now and say, I want to buy wine? Well, I want you to buy winetext.com because that's my dad's business. How do I get the search engines in this? How do we get the new AI, these chatbots, to actually answer that?
So how do you optimize for AI versus optimize for search engine?
AI is still taking from the web. But if you look, AI, all the different AI agents are taking from different places. Reddit seems to be quite strong. Other platforms are getting justified. When I look at the search, if I'm looking for wine terms, food and wine, kudos to food and wine out there, they're getting scraped. So the landscape is changing, and it always changes, but this is a very big, no matter how much this great program covers it, no matter how many people like me talk about it, collectively everybody's underestimating how big of a shift is coming.
Okay, so I'm a company.
Yep.
How do I then use you guys to help me figure this out? What's your pitch?
I mean, we as a Vayner's a unique company. We're an entrepreneurial driven company that I'm building for myself to build a private equity firm on top of. So my pitch is pretty easy. I'm like, hey, I'm incentivized for this stuff to work because my economics are not actually in being a service provider for you. I actually want to do what you're doing for a living ultimately, and I'm refining my machine while I have clients. That tends to work because it becomes true. You can measure it. We have a 15-year track record of being a leader in what's emerging in marketing, right? When I was yelling that social media is going to be important as the original influencer, people poofed at that. They're like, no, it's commercials, it's search, our pitch has been sold through. People know that we're more advanced than the holding company agency ecosystem. I think what's more important, I don't worry about our pitch because we have unlimited business development. I'm worried about executing. And so what we're spending our time on is actually being practitioners and in the trenches of being best in class in social or AI.
So let's talk about execution, because there's a big thing with live social shopping, and that's huge in parts of Asia, China in particular. Not so much here. What do you think is the reason behind that? Is it just a matter of we're kind of behind and it takes the right product and the right person to make it all blow up?
Yep.
That's it?
That's it. What's
Zucks?
Mark Zuckerberg.
Oh, Zucks. I don't refer to him as Zucks.
Shoes?
Zucks.
What is that?
I think Meta's been slow to it. They're such a leader, right? TikTok's forcing the issue. TikTok Shop is a monster. There's a startup called Whatnot that you might be familiar with that is a leader as an independent. I think eBay, I'm sensing, is starting to get its act together a little bit. Shopify, could get in that game. Google, YouTube. YouTube is crushing with TV and proper YouTube, but YouTube Live, shopping. The QVC-ification of social media is here. It's here. Meaning, you're absolutely right. When I was talking about this a year ago, I wasn't predicting anything. This has happened in China for a decade. The apps are adapting to that model, it will work. It's human behavior. It's a massive space and a huge opportunity.